YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We're gonna open this box right now. It's integral to my YouTube experience, I think. Could be saying that wrong. But you guys already know what it is. You've seen the thumbnail. I don't. I just know it's all new from FMS. Somebody did a bad job cutting the box. It's all right, I'll do it again. Oh my goodness, look at that thing. Try not to cringe too much. Okay, amazing. All right, so it's a jet, as you've noticed. And it's a very, very fast one, supposedly. I'll just drop that on top of our dining table.
No, we're not putting planes there. No.
I just want to tell you a story before we open this box. It comes in blue or red. This is a Tomahawk design. If you ever get so many planes that you have to sell your dining table to make room,
You have a problem.
you have a solution. This is licensed by Tomahawk Aviation. It is powerful, it is stable, and it is rigid.
Oh, well, those are usually good selling points.
I mean, we're gonna open it and see if that's true. Oh, whoa, buddy, look at that. We've got an up and down view. Wowzers, okay, yeah. Well, we're gonna see what other people have to say about the looks. There are very few times that I keep my opinion to myself.
Sometimes the artwork doesn't do it justice.
Other times it does.
Sometimes.
Look at that, they didn't fold the manual.
Oh, well,
They're
that was
forgiven.
sweet of them.
Whoa,
They
buddy,
did
what's that?
Add an addendum. Oh no.
Linkage rods installed for both clevises and ball heads.
Oh.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna open this thing up. This is all new from FMS, like I mentioned earlier. We do radio controlled airplanes on Brian Phillips RC. They did not put the freaking linkages on. Note to self, if you're sending out an airplane with all that crap put together, put the linkages on.
Put it on. Don't type this up. Just put them on.
Gotta put this here. All right, so here goes, guys. We're gonna cut some tape. We're gonna get this thing unboxed. Tomahawk does a really nice job on planes. Do you know what other model was Tomahawk?
Yeah.
What?
The Futura. No. Is that right?
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Futura. You looked at me like I was wrong. I second guessed myself.
Wowzer's amazing. Okay. It's integral that you put your own. Whoa, look at that. Integral hinges.
Oh.
Is that why they named it that? Then we have flaps. This is probably one of those times like when you don't know what F3A stands for. And then the entire RC community is like, I can't believe you didn't know that because I didn't tell you. LEDs. Wow, that's interesting. We don't see that all the time on super fast jets. I gotta say, I like the color here. Let's see if that continues to other aspects. I definitely like the look of the tires.
Are they hard?
They are.
Oh yeah.
They are like hard, like a rock hard tumor. It's not a tumor.
Why is that?
And trailing link.
Why was that your go-to metaphor?
I don't know. Evidently I have problems. Okay, so there's wings, very stiff. Good Lord. They weren't kidding, it is rigid. It's like strumming a guitar. Okay. Oh, look, we've got a DB9. Amazing. That would be a female, for those of you that I'm no biologist.
Is it shirt?
It's a female. That's all I'm gonna say. Not gonna go any further. I don't need problems. Okay. Nose cone. We might need a rhinoplasty.
That's not the problem.
Speaking of medical problems. Okay, yeah, that's a problem. Guys, I know some of you are thinking, yeah, but Brian, back in 1930s, we had to build everything with balsa wood and Ciego. I get it, guys. I'm not saying there's not an art form to that. This is not that. That is not carbon fiber. That is
fiberglass.
Fiberglass. What? sometimes the choices that these manufacturers make.
Maybe they needed the weight.
Well, they might have, generally. Genuinely. Like they didn't want it to go into the outer spaceage. That tail is.
That is.
Is that the way it goes?
Wait, really?
Okay, so we have linkages. You know, I gotta say, at least they're reinforced. But why the heck did they pivot so high up on the wing? That's weird. So it's a pinch hinge with an integral. We're back to integral.
Yeah.
Integral.
Integral?
Integral.
There's no R in the front half of the word.
I mean, we might figure it out someday.
Yeah.
So it kind of reminds me of like...
Looks like a whale. The tail.
Listen, you need to be good, camera crew. Oh, wow. We have another integral hinge. Is that the reason they call this integrals? Because all the hinges are integral?
Not.
I gotta say, thick, beefy, what were there?
Rigid.
And what else?
Stable and powerful. I'm telling you, it's a good selling feature.
So like hard and with staying power. Okay, well, I mean, there's that. Here it is, guys.
Speaking of.
Wow, amazing. There's a cheater here. Do you see the cheater? Wait, I turned it the wrong. I love the colors. The colors are great.
Yeah.
I'm glad they sent the red one. And look, we've got a there's a little light on the bottom.
It just keeps sticking.
The landing gear looks nice. Yeah, it keeps going to the
Yeah.
other side. And then we'll show you down the tailpipe. Wow, they painted the tailpipe this time. Plastic. What? It's plastic. Yep, that looks nice. Give him a nice long shot down there. I'll hold still.
A long ways in there.
Yeah.
Don't stick
Okay.
anything
I'm
up
sure
there.
they'll have a warning about that too.
Sure.
Okay.
Is that it though?
Well, I mean, there's an entire bag of control clevises. Yeah, that's it, guys. The box is empty. So what I've got to say so far is initial reactions are that it seems really well built. Where did this come from?
No, it's further to the right, I think.
You tell me where, and I'll do it. So I think it's really well built, which is nice. I'm excited to see how it goes together. I might need a minute to figure this puzzle out. I'll be right back. We got a plane stand. It's right here. If you guys want to buy one, there's links in our supplies on Brian Phillips RC. That thing is obnoxious. It keeps coming back. Okay, release, lift. Amazing. Look at this, guys. Came prepared. Oh, yeah. That is a big hole. Okay. So strangely enough, okay, so I'm trying to figure this out right now because I'm still trying to, wrap my head around this design. And what I'm wondering is like if a guy could take this canopy and just like make it maybe not there. And instead of that, it would just be like that, because that might be kind of neat. In fact, hold on.
Oh my goodness.
First time ever on Brian Phillips RC.
Are you gonna draw on the box?
Ooh, Razorback. Ooh, yeah. Look at that, guys. We're just modifying it a little bit.
I don't know if that helped.
I mean, it might. It could. Let's do some flames here. Okay. Does that help?
Are we playing like Pictionary?
Tomahawk is done with Brian Phillips RC.
There's a thing missing in there. No, in the plane.
A reflex?
No. Well, there is that also.
What's wrong? Oh, the yellow? Oh, crappers. Are you kidding me?
I didn't put it in there. I'm just saying.
There's no yeller.
I know.
That means there's no thrust reverse, guys.
I needed a yeller in this one.
Because it's like 1,000,000 miles an hour. This is a really fast plane, guys.
I have to like land
Like
it in
4
the
trillion
beam
miles
field.
an hour. This
Yeah.
it's gonna be like going around the Earth faster than the International Space Station. Thank goodness, because you won't be able to see it as good.
There is no reflex in there though, to be clear.
There's no reflex. And folks, just to be clear, there is a battery tray in here, okay? So the battery tray I'm quite excited about. If it doesn't break on the way out. Are you freaking kidding me?
Wait, is there a release?
What do you mean, is there a release? That was so weird. Okay, so a couple things to think about. I like that that goes forward, but I don't like how weird that came out. Did you guys see what happened? I pulled, it got stuck, I pushed it back in, and then I pulled it back out. And then it came.
Needs to be worked a little bit.
And not only that, I just want to talk about this cavity in general. It's there's a mixing board here to facilitate the DB9 connections for the wings. So we do have quick disconnect on the wings. You know, quick, unless there's control horns that you have to install, which you only have to install once.
It's not a very big plane.
No, it's well, what, is it not?
No, I mean, look how big the wings are.
I don't know. This is licensed?
Yes.
This is licensed?
You already said that.
Since when do the Chinese pay license fees?
Well, they must like Tomahawk.
I guess. Okay, so
Got a good
Tomahawk. I believe this is modeled at, if you could hand me the scalpel, excuse me, the nose cone. Ooh. Well, it's better now. So guys, the build is gonna go pretty quick because I mean, like literally we're halfway done, okay? So they tape these down. What we do here on Brian Phillips RC, if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, generally we don't get quite this opinionated about the looks of planes. We just say how beautiful they are.
We're just opinionated about all the other things.
Yeah, that's why you gotta be a little bit careful pulling tape, okay, folks? Yeah, that was maybe not so successful if I was trying to save that. I also wanna talk about this for a minute. You do have separate servos, okay, for the elevator. So like if a guy wanted to do, or a gal wanted to do, or whatever you are, wanted to do televons.
Really?
Televons. Yeah, you could do that. John's gonna get all pissed off about that. You ready?
He can do them.
No, not televons, just because, anyway.
You said it.
It's okay. He's not gonna see it anyway, so I don't care what John thinks. But anyway, guys, if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC and you're thinking, what are you talking about, Brian? I feel so lost on this video, and normally I'm just like right in tune with you. Yeah, I know. Well, we try to, you know, it's like, what is that thing that your mother told you when you were growing up? And she was like, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. So you're gonna notice that I am exceptionally quiet about how gorgeous this plane is. You gotta. But at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of like the Habu. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Where are those wires going? Okay, so those wires do come out of a slit, okay? So just wherever they come out is where they're going. So far, it's going together well. I mean, this is like, we're 3 pieces in already, and it's been like 3 minutes. And most of that has been me just marveling at the beauty of this plane. I gotta say, this thing is like, really feels nice.
Do we need to put any screws?
Oh, you want me to stick them in there?
Or not
yeah,
yet?
let's stick it in.
Okay.
Good idea. Good idea, because it is...
What?
Rigid.
Oh, rigid. Yeah.
Yes.
And powerful. All you needed was the
tootin'.
2 millimeter. Do you need your whole thing of garbage over here?
2. I'm taking the staple out. Okay, so guys, if you didn't know why these manufacturers put staples into your sack,
Yes.
it's because they don't want your sack to spill open when it's rigid and powerful.
That would be unfortunate. You lose all the little pieces.
On camera.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Sorry, I just had a little itch in my throat, kids. Get out, get out. Do you see what happens sometimes? Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah,
I
was
love
gonna
it.
say they're all the same. So
Okay, so I'm so
better, at
confused. I
least.
feel like there's so many of
Why are
these.
there? I know.
There's millions of them.
2 ailerons, 2 flaps, 2
Hey,
elevators,
hon, I
and a
have a
rudder.
hole in my sack. Should I keep it? Okay.
I'm
I
sure
will.
you will.
I will. I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Okay.
So we're gonna stick this in with a 2 millimeter drive. 2 millimeters is kind of the formal, most popular size. I love that they're all the same size screws. So
Yes.
Tomahawk, good
That
job.
is good.
And by the way, I gotta say, I love the Tomahawk flight performance. Was it Tomahawk on like a few different planes? Because we really do like,
I think it's only been the Futura, but
Futura?
we've done...
The Futura is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, and we've done a couple of versions of the Futura.
I mean, I love the 80.
Well, okay.
I'm not as crazy about the 64 as I am about the 80, but it's still a pretty good 64.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit too much of the Marlin, which is just, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Marlin either. It's just...
Not, yeah, just that.
Listening to mother's advice still. I mean, the Marlin is a great plane. It's very easy to fly. It'd be a great beginner plane. This is probably going to be like one of the worst beginner planes you could get.
Yeah. Gonna go
Just want to put that over here so I can
not
save it.
this. Oh, good. So you can say that.
We're saving all this room from the table.
Right.
It's kind of nice. I can walk through, dance floor, all that stuff.
Actually, our youngest son has been using it as a helipad all day.
That's right. That's right.
Very
Which
excited
means my
about
wife has been wearing a helmet all day. Just kidding. Okay, so remember, brown to brown, yellow to yellow when you plug these things in. This is not a beginner plane, so when we address you, folks at home watching, we just want to say thank you for watching. If you're bearing with us through this beautiful build, we appreciate you being here and being part of Brian Phillips RC. That says flap. Okay, good.
Flap?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like which wires I can yank because I need to pull the slack through.
Yeah, it says flap.
I gotta come over there. I'm sorry, I can't see.
I'll trade.
Okay, so guys, what I'm doing is I'm just looking for the elevator and rudder cables. There is a, yeah, it looks like a Y cable. Oh man, it comes all the way up here. So that means if you did want to do televons, you could totally do it. Yeah, you could split it off easy. Yeah, don't you know?
Don't you know?
Don't you know? Yeah, if you want to split that off, this is a Y cable, but all you'd have to do is just cut off one of the two and then just build an end on there. Which if you don't know how to build an end, we've done it a number of times on the channel, but you know, building servo ends is a bit of a pain, but it's, you know, it's manageable. You don't even have to solder. It's a crimp style connection. So it's more a function of having the tool to do it. And I think this one is just, you'll just want to make sure this gets dropped down in here. Where's the rudder lead? Yeah, there's the rudder lead. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this through. And remember, these are all like safety latched style connections. So you'd have to worry about those popping out on you. And by the way, if you guys are watching Brian Phillips RC for the first time here, welcome. And sometimes when we do these builds, we kind of get into the weeds, and other times we just kind of get her done. And it just kind of depends. A lot of it depends on what our feelings are on a plane, whether we love it, or if it's you know, like a new release and we have to have something done in a real quick order. I don't remember. Is this one kind of a tight one? I don't feel like it's a real tight timeline.
Horrible weather forecast.
We just have
for
horrible
like the
weather.
next week.
Ooh.
Like
Yeah, look at that. Ugly. The glue.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 millimeters, guys. We're gonna drive this in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna unbox this plane, we're gonna build it, and we're gonna radio set it up. I could have put this in before I dropped that in. It would have been way smarter. But I'm, you know.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I missed.
Not known for my intelligence.
Missed the hole.
Yeah.
Happens.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build this plane. We're gonna set it up with regard to the radio setup. Should go pretty smooth. And just so you guys know, if you hear gripes about the way the plane goes together, just remember, it's still a million times easier than any plane that we would have done 10 years ago, which is roughly when we started this endeavor, because I didn't have enough memory on my cell phone. We were like, let's just put it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And you may hear the hurricane sounding force wind. It is exceptionally windy.
Yeah, we do have gusts up to like 40 tonight.
That doesn't seem like just 40.
No, I know it doesn't.
Seems
It sounds
way more than 40.
And our temperature dropped about 75 degrees today.
Yeah, quite literally.
I wish I was kidding.
So the camera crew has been, I keep saying, hey, I'm going to take off the plow from the tractor. And she's like,
It's still February.
yeah, it's going to snow. And I'm like, stop it. You can't talk about it.
If you take it off, it will snow.
Look, I'm trying to take this out. Ugh. And I can't, I hate it when this happens. I'm trying to get it out. I got to torque the screw, and then this happens sometimes. You torque them, and then they just get like stuck in there, which is really weird.
That is kind of weird.
How do you know when these things are tight, guys? What you're going to do is you're going to watch for panel lines to be lined up or pucker, okay? Oh man, look
That
at
is
that.
really gappy.
That is not the way it's supposed to be. Ours got damaged a little bit. That's annoying. So guys, here on Brian Phillips RC, we also point out damage points and things that we don't like, unless of course it is a highly subjective matter of looks. In which case, we will pretend that it's the most beautiful thing ever. It's the most beautiful thing ever.
Regardless of what your opinion is.
I want to see how it flies.
It's an easy build though.
Well, do you remember the Delta Ray?
Yes, I do remember the Delta Ray. How could you forget?
That plane was not especially beautiful, but I loved flying it.
Yeah.
I love that plane. And it was a great way to learn to fly. Of course, it's not been available for some time, and that's okay. Okay, so we have all these plugs, and we'll show you how to plug all this crap in later when we get our receiver ready to install. And we will go through the entire setup with the NX10 in this case, and haven't decided which receiver, but I'm assuming we're gonna want an AS3X and safe equipped receiver because there isn't a reflex in this plane. So,
correct.
A reflex, of course. Now, that's kind of a telltale sign.
What?
Look, if you did crow, look how sweet that would look. That would be pretty cool. I just don't know if I want to spend that many channels on this plane. Let's talk about the channels for a minute. But before we do that, I'm gonna put this plane together.
Okay.
Do you want to know why I'm going to put this plane together? Because look how easy this
It's
is.
almost done.
I mean, I got to admit, this has been a really easy build.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I want to talk about something else. Foam on a sharp tip like this, that's reinforced with plastic. This is not. That is, because there's a light. But then this is not. Ugh, that's going to get scratched like crazy every time you do a terrible landing called Brian Phillips style. Brian Phillips RC. Okay. There it is. Oh yeah! Just let go. Just let go. Just let go. It's fine. It's not going to hurt it.
Okay.
Once I get the other one in, then I mean, just be careful you don't bend your pins off.
Wait, don't forget your rod.
Oh goodness, I about didn't cram it in there.
I know.
What is this?
That would be a wing spar.
What else?
Rigid.
And
Powerful.
oh yeah. Found the sweet spot. Yeah,
that was
pretty. Lot of penetration. And if you guys like penetration too, then you'll love Brian Phillips RC because we do a lot of it on the air. Not quite as much as RC's. All right, so look what's happening, guys. I just want to talk about this. This alignment is a little bit, it's maybe not so good. We stick it in anyway. Oh, it went.
Okay.
I mean, it's built. It's different looking. It's very different. So do you want to talk about the box art anymore?
I said maybe the box art doesn't do it justice.
Maybe this is an FPV plane.
Maybe it's a futuristic. I mean, like the Futura is a different looking plane.
Whatever, the Futura is awesome.
Don't forget your screws. But it's.
That's why this is in my hand.
Oh.
I have a total of 5 screws left, which means there's one spare.
Amazing.
And that's the way FMS likes to do it. See this? Look. 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 We have 4. And then here's the 5th.
That's amazing.
Okay? That's the way FMS likes to do it.
Someday we're going to build the whole house.
Could you help me flip my
screws.
thingy? Here, how about this? I'll put my screws in your hand. If you could hold those, that'd be great. So, I gotta say, it feels pretty rock solid. The landing gear look absolutely fantastic.
There's a light on the bottom.
Yeah, no, I already mentioned that.
Oh,
I thought I said that out loud, but maybe I was just talking to myself.
Just thinking it in your head.
No, I actually said it.
Oh, okay.
Look, more China glue pooping. I can live with that. I just don't want to have problems getting my alignment. Okay, it's going now. Do you guys see what I did to get the thread started there? All I did was just rock the tip, okay? Oh, good Lord, it's stuck again. These must be like the most, like, exact sized 2mm drives ever. Okay. So I'm still racking my brain trying to figure out why these control horns are not installed.
I don't know.
Like, there is really no excuse.
Like, that guy's still on Chinese New Year, so they just didn't put him on.
Yeah, like, we have to hurry to get these out because it's competitive with the other
Integral
aircraft. going
Integral.
to hit the market. There's always some reason for what they do.
But it looks like it would have fit in the box. Like it doesn't look. There's
Oh, it
no
would
reason why
100%. It would
fit.
100%. Every one of the axis of control would have been fine. Now, okay, there is one advantage to having to put your own control horns on. And that is you get to look at the instructions and see how they were supposed to be put on at the factory.
Well, I was just thinking maybe if there was like a linkage.
Hold on. Is it fully bolt together, but then we need to glue? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Maybe there was like
an
issue with a linkage, like if your linkage came off and your
like you crashed,
plane
like your
crashed. Maybe they just want people to check them first.
Yeah, they're like they did that just for Brian. I'm the only one who had those out.
They just take ours off before
that'd be
they
like,
send them.
oh yeah, we better take his off. We had that problem that one time.
That is not starting.
I understand, but I am going to make it start.
I know. Oh, there it goes.
Yep, I kicked the tip over. Now, just full disclosure, this is the first time we're building it. And so if it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, some people have to take the wings off to transport these things.
Oh.
But to be frank, guys, it's not that big of a plane. It's like less than a 1.2 meter.
It'll fit in your Prius. That's what I said. It's not very big.
Maybe it isn't less than a 1.2. It might be consistent with a 1.2. Yeah, that's a little, that's probably 13,500 millimeters.
13,500.
That's the thing. 13 and then another half. Let's see what it actually is. Let's see if it says. Yeah, right here.
Wing area.
Whoa! It's only 1,060 millimeters.
I told you it wasn't very big.
Wow, that's great. 100 amp ESC, but you didn't give me a yeller. 6S 4 to 5,000. Okay, let's talk about 6S. Okay. So 6S 5,050C. I'm just gonna stick it right in here.
Okay.
Ready? Boop. Do you see how that's pretty nice? S2200, people ask me all the time. Here's the answer. If you're gonna fly on 4S, you can start with the S155. It's cheap, or whatever comes in you're ready to fly that you're getting. And this is the S2200, 200 watts, 2 channels. You can do all your safe or smart setup. You can also do that over here, smaller display, a little bit harder to unplug. I like that I can flip a power switch back here. It's got a rocker switch right here. Show the people, please. Rocker switch, okay? This thing has all the bells and whistles you're gonna need, unless of course you're off the grid. And then you'd wanna get something, you know, more like this that can run through a power supply, or just hook it up to your battery on the truck or the car or whatever it is. The Prius. All right, so that build was actually very fast.
It was.
So I gotta say,
It's been 27
credit where
minutes.
credit's due. First of all, this is not folded. Okay, second of
Yes.
all, this plane went together quickly, but then that's where it ends.
It's all the same size screws.
It's all the same size screws, which
It's
makes
all
it really
bolt
easy.
together.
This thing feels like it's gonna be light on its feet for a jet. I'm not saying it's light, but it feels light on its feet for a jet, which means it could fly really dang good. And I gotta say, like, there are angles where it's maybe less aggressively.
Here, we'll just film from here.
From that angle.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I was gonna say, there's an angle over here where it's maybe okay.
What's the down angle on the tail?
That's called, well, that would be anhedral.
Like anhedral.
Yeah, it's dihedral.
It's just
I think that's
odd.
what it is.
This is not the angle.
Okay, so, all right, continuing onward, we're gonna read some information here. So it's got a 3665 2000 kV motor. Holy shnikesies. That was, I'm highlighting it with the marker, dang it. 3660, whatever, it's something like that.
You can look in your own book.
Yeah, look in your own manual, kids. And much older than the adults. Okay, so that's where you put the battery into this thing right there. Battery installation, as shown in the picture. Gotta love it when they lead off with that. Oh, yes, linkage rods installs. Linkage rod install addendum. Okay, camera crew, you ready?
Yep.
I'm gonna highlight this for you.
Okay, linkage rod installation for both clevis and ball head link. Before installing the main wing, horizontal tail, and vertical tail, the linkage rod for ailerons, flaps, elevators, and rudder should be installed in advance. Oh, we have to take it all apart now. You did it wrong.
Did I get it on my nose?
No, but that would have been hilarious.
Oh. So they don't even tell you
whatever.
where to put it in?
No, it's in here. Look, over here. Hold on, we're gonna have a cat fight.
Ooh, really? People love those. Where's the other cat?
She's in here hiding. This is
Callie,
our,
get out of there.
This is our mean cat. And this is our scaredy cat who just came in from being outside for 2 days. Back to the originally scheduled program.
So we suggest control. They suggested control. Okay, so
We don't do that.
when they don't exist, you need to come to the other side. When they don't exist, whoa, tips on the first flight. Fly the model in low rate. The first time you use high rates, be sure to fly at low to medium speeds. High rates as listed is for extreme maneuvering. Okay.
Well, you've been warned.
Okay, so
But we're not
I'm
gonna
going to
give you a
explain this
yellow
though,
wire.
camera crew. The reason that they're saying for extreme maneuvering is because look at the difference. Okay, so the rudder in low rates is 18 instead of 22. That's huge. Why are you at such an extreme angle? And then 14 versus 10, that's like a lot less. Okay, but we're just gonna go ahead and not use that. Okay, we'll come back to that later. 155 to 165, now that's something we'll use. And this is something, we will use this portion here, okay? Yeah, before installing the main wing, what?
It's what your addendum is. You're supposed to do it beforehand.
You're supposed to do it before.
So I said, let's take it apart. We did it wrong.
Why?
Who knows?
I'm not doing that
We
crap.
never-
I'll
we
stick
never
it
do
in
it.
there. I'll make it happen. Flying course, maintenance. There is no maintenance. Maintenance. Okay, yeah, there is no maintenance. Just fly it. All right, this is the end of the manual, the usefulness. This is kind of handy if you need specs for stuff. This is kind of nice. This talks about programming items for the ESC, okay? Which is kind of nice, actually, that they list that. Okay. Oh, it tells you the beeps. I didn't realize that was in here. If you guys need to program your manual or program your ESC, you'll do stuff from here, okay? So you don't have to program it, but if you need to, then you can do that. Okay, and then we're getting into the other languages. Well, that was a great read. I learned a lot.
Why did we do that?
I was hoping it would say like stick the things into the wing before you screw it up second. But they didn't say that. We're gonna put in a receiver soon. And this is where we talk about receivers, okay? We already know what battery, 5006S 50C. But now we need to figure out, along with this NX10, what are we gonna use for the receiver, okay? So that is the lingering question in all of our hearts and minds.
Absolutely.
And so what receiver do you think we're gonna use, camera crew?
An AR637T.
Is that really what you wanna use?
Throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, gear, flaps. Mode.
WWJD.
The mode is,
What would John do?
he would reprogram all of the things.
He would set the
and do
throws
it totally differently.
to 150%, and so he could Cobra this thing. Which, honestly, if there was a plane to Cobra, this might be it. Extreme maneuvers are not for high speeds.
Telemetry would be nice because
I know, I agree.
it's going to be a short flight time, I would assume.
I don't know. It says it's powerful, rigid, and stable.
It didn't say it was long lasting.
Okay, so 1 minute wonder. Maybe 3.
You could do a 631 if you don't want telemetry.
You could, but I would not do a 630 on this, guys.
No.
Because the 630 has the integral antenna. Okay, so pause and we'll look at them. Okay, so if you really want to go crazy over the top, you can use this. But just keep in mind, you got to deal with this board. This board in here mixes crap together, okay? So it's like, I mean, you can do it, but it'll just take a little extra effort. You probably have to cut these ends off and redo some things, okay? So this is just a mixing board. It's not really that big a deal. But just be aware that you'll have to dink with that, okay? I am not dinking with that on this plane, okay? So this one, no, it's a no-go. The 630 or 631 would be fine. This one's the one without the antenna. I didn't grab the 630. I meant to get the 631 as well. So I would not recommend this one just for the simple fact that you've got, you know, a very fast plane. It's going to get a ways away quick. So I would probably suggest a 637T. Now, here's the thing. I know some of you are thinking, but it's only a few bucks more for this. Yes. Hear me out. First of all, when you go with the AR637T, you're going to get the same telemetry as you would in this, okay? You're going to get the same AS3X and safe as you do in this. If you don't need the channels, don't use this, okay? If you think you want them, fine. But just remember, mode, master gains, thrust reverse if you put in an avian ESC and use the smart serial communication, then you don't have to worry, or, well, I shouldn't say serial because that's oversimplifying it. But either way, you can use the additional unpluggable channels that you can tap into on this, okay? Because it's not just a 6-channel receiver. This is like a bunch of channels. Same thing is true on this, except you have 2 pluggable more than you do here. And what do you mean by pluggable, Brian? There's 6 channels here that are available to be plugged in. There's also a bind plug and a programming plug, which is the same plug. And we don't really even use that much anymore because we have the button, the push button. And the same is true here. The only difference is this one's just in the packaging a little bit different. They're almost the exact same body, a little bit wider on this because it's got more pluggable channels. But you can still tap the upper channels on this as well.
If you get your integral with a Predator that has thrust reverse though, and you want to use it, you'll have to go up too.
Only if you're using thrust reverse from the Predator.
Right.
If you're using thrust reverse in an avian, then you can get away with this because the available channels are still there.
Yep.
Now listen, there's a catch, and this is a big catch. That's why I said what WWJD, and I meant John.
Yeah.
Okay. He would be doing inboard flaps and outboard flapperons, spoilerons, because he's going to do crow almost certainly. I'm not wasting my time on that because I don't think it's necessary. Okay. Crow would probably help to slow this plane down, but I have no clue if it needs it. If it needs it, I can always rip this sucker out and stick something else in the hole, okay? Sure. So let's talk about how this would look. We got 6 channels. We've got, obviously, AS3X safe, and then off, we'll have modes. That's gonna be on a channel that's above the pluggables, so we don't even care, it doesn't even count. The master gains, above the pluggables, doesn't even count. So what are we left with?
Throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, gear, flaps.
Yeah, that's 6, okay? Or if you wish, 6. Okay, so that means that we should be able to do this with no problem here. And we still have battery telemetry through the little micro PH1S connector. And that's gonna give us the ability to get feedback from the aircraft on the fly, pun intended. And since it's on the fly, then we can hopefully get this thing back to the ground. Now, I am a little bit tempted to put a 631 in here because I think it would be fine. But I like the end pin in a jet setup. Usually the end pins are kind of nice because these cavities get to being pretty crowded. And crowded cavities kind of cause.
I don't know, that one seems pretty spacious.
It's not gonna be spacious when you're sticking a big battery in there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this and I'm gonna move this out of the way and we're gonna start straight into radio setup, but I gotta talk about placement real quick. We're probably gonna put it right here, okay? So there's just kind of a perfect spot for it there. And then that ramps up anyway. So I could also stick it down there. That looks to be kind of a vent hole.
You gotta get your battery.
No, I know, but if you stick it down in there, if it traps it in the center, it would be okay. Because then you could be under it, but I don't know if I have enough room to do that. And plus I need to make sure I can get all my primary control surfaces in through the openings, okay? So like now that we have that all assembled, I can stick that back. We've got throttle here. We've got flaps. We've got elevator. We've got ailerons. And you guys saw earlier when I was sliding those back. And then we have the gear. Of course, the gear is to the retracts there. And then we have rudder. Where are the gear? Oh, they're way up here. That's a splitter already. Okay, so we have gear. Now, the other thing, admittedly, that some people will want to do is if you add crow, then that's gonna add one additional channel because you have to split out your ailerons, okay? So that'd be aileron 1, aileron 2. It's called a dual aileron 1 flap. This is normally how you would set that up. And then you can have differential, you can have spoilerons with the inboard flaps deployed. That would give you crow. And then you could also do a full length flap if you wanted, which would just, you know, be whatever. I don't even know how that works on this plane, if it's gonna be an issue or not. But in my case, I would probably lean toward crow because it's gonna help me to lose altitude and speed without changing the angle of attack as much, okay? But I'm gonna stick with just inboard flaps, okay? But some people also really like to separate out the nose gear from the rudder for better steering control on the ground, okay? So that's where you might have that additional channel come in handy on the 8360T. So you would add one additional channel would give you this, and this is already consumed on the first one. And then the second additional channel would be this, or alternatively, your thrust reverse if you get a Predator ESC with thrust reverse. And I know some of you are gonna say, mine had it. Okay, congratulations, ours didn't. We had that same argument with people when we had our 15th anniversary Viper. A lot of people got them with thrust reverse, we didn't.
Nope.
I don't really care, it would have been nice to have, because the truth is I ended up liking the E-Flight one better because it had soft tires.
But we definitely did not have thrust reverse on ours.
Yeah, we did not have thrust reverse on ours, just so you guys know. Okay.
Need help.
I was itching my back. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start the radio setup right now on Brian Phillips RC. If you guys are brand new to the channel, if you wanna support us, click the bell for notifications when subscribing. Don't forget to smash the like button. Obviously that helps us. We do long format content. We think it's high quality, but you know, to all their own. Yes. But long format is a thing of the past. Obviously AI is eventually gonna take over and we're all just gonna watch reruns of The Simpsons merged with Friends. And some stupid, weird, garbly goop of people making pizzas and robots attacking while melting into hydraulic fluid.
Oh.
Yes, I did just make that up out of my... But listen, if you guys don't like the prospect of watching the hydraulic fluid and Simpsons, then what you wanna do is smash the like button and tell Google to stuff it with all this BS that they're throwing. And by the way, if you guys didn't know that, that's a thing. It's not just me. It's not just me, guys. I'm not the only crazy person out there. Tyler Perry also said it was a problem. And Tyler Perry is a big RC proponent, so what he says is important to me. And Randy RC, one of my favorites. He does long format.
He does.
So it's slightly more refined.
Slightly less long.
Not the wingspan. So we're gonna just pull this out, guys. Okay, so we got the antennas. Yes, it's not antennae. I learned that once from one of you wonderful commenters that corrected me. I do need a lot of correction. And that's why I'm going in for LASIK. Again.
Also true. For the third time?
This will be the second touch-up.
Second touch-up.
I did have a complication on my first touch-up where I had to go in and use an O-ring pick to rip open the eyeball and scrape my eyeball. It was awesome. It was like a 30-second thing. It was like the easiest thing ever.
Am I saving this for later?
I'm glad they didn't tell me how they were going to fix that, by the way, because I would have been like, yeah, I think I'm good. That was really what they did.
There's a reason that my eyes work, because I'm not doing that.
That's all right. Okay, so watch this. This thing is a micro pH 1S connector, as you can see from looking closely at it. It's going to stick into that doohickey there, except it's going to go this way. How do you know which way it goes? If at first you don't succeed, try again, and don't push too hard, you might get in trouble. I mean, break it off in the hole.
That would not be good.
Okay? So I'm gonna twist it right here, and I'm just gonna go like this. Watch this, it's gonna be a miracle when I get it done, okay? And then you just do that all the way down. So, usually what I do, and you're like, I thought you were doing radio setup. I thought you were building a profile just now, Brian. You let me down.
How this goes.
You let me down.
It's like living with a squirrel.
Well, people tell me to slow down.
So this is you going slower?
So I just make
Just do something
ambiguous pauses while I think of what I should say, but I can't.
Instead of what you wanted to say?
I can't say those things. Don't tempt me, camera.
Why are you twisting the wire?
I'm twisting the wire because I'm a neat freak.
Well, I know, but why else?
I'm gonna have, like, they're gonna come into my house and they'll be like, this is the most organized hoarding house we've ever seen.
You can't be on orders, it's all organized.
Normally when we walk in 16 deep cans, it's just a pile of garbage. But in your house, they're stacked neatly.
And
Still
labeled
16 layers.
with a giant
deep.
Sharpie.
What's wrong with the Sharpie? Are you against things that, well,
What?
I was thinking about what I said.
I'm going to tell a Sharpie story, but I don't know.
No, I didn't want to continue the story because I figured it might be a little bit too. There's a hurricane outside.
Yeah, if our house blows away in the middle of this video, we apologize.
God has struck down the comment. See, I stopped. God relented. See? Do you hear? Ooh. I hope you guys can hear because it's pretty palpable.
Really loud.
Like a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, and we have 4 kids in the basement. They're alive, don't worry. They have food in a bathroom, sort of.
And like 4 TVs.
And 4 TVs. Lots of food.
Nice.
Look at this.
Beautiful.
Amazing, right?
That's amazing.
Okay, so once you're done with that, do we like check for tornado warnings?
I don't know.
It's like insanely
like the
windy.
windows are moving.
Oh, it's cool when the windows move and you can see the background go. Okay. You see this? Brian Phillips RC. Tornado attacks while unboxing. Brian Phillips RC continues the unbox. Kids, it's okay. Just get in the storm shelter. We're building an airplane. Family mourns the loss of Brian Phillips RC. He is an idiot. That's what they said. Is that pretty much what it would be like?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway, all right, we're gonna turn this thing on. Hold on, I gotta cover it.
No. Here, we'll look at the beautiful plane.
Hey, which one? We're gonna I'm not ready. Add new model. Okay.
I'm not looking at you.
So I added a new model. So I hit cancel and back, and then I'm gonna create an acro. So I'm gonna create, and then like 5 minutes later it'll be done. Just wanna make sure. What?
You won't go back to that screen.
Listen, folks, if you don't have 249.9 models, it won't take that
It'll
long.
go faster.
I'm serious, it really will go a lot faster.
Does, yeah.
Mine takes forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're back in the system. Setup, model select, model type, model name. This is where we type in the name, 202. And yeah, that's 202 plus what came before. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna type in the name. It's the 80 millimeter integral. All right, folks, FMS integral 80 millimeter. Okay, so we're gonna go back. Aircraft type, beautiful. So if you were doing 2 ailerons and 1 flap, that's what you would do, but we're not. We're doing that, okay? And then there's a normal tail. Okay, so I'm gonna select.
There surely is one of those in the standard image file, right?
That's pretty much it. Did you see that?
What?
That's pretty much it. That's it. That's pretty much it. I feel like this is copyright violation. Oh my goodness. Wow. F mode. All right, so we are gonna set up flight modes. Why? Because I can. Boop. D. The D switch. Then spoken flight mode. So this is the part where I tell you it's labels. It's only labels, people, it's labels. Only labels. It's not the actual mode. We'll set the modes to the label later, okay? So this is gonna be for us AS3X, and so I'm gonna type that now, and you're like, yeah, but you're typing over the top, hit cancel, cancel, and it'll clear. So as you can see, we'll do AS3X, which stands for Artificial Stabilization 3-axis. If you don't know the difference between stabilization and auto leveling, this is probably not the video for you. I'm gonna scroll way down to here, not to the top and then go back around. No, I gotta go all the way down. Okay, so you get down to safe. That tells you you're about there.
AS3X mode.
Okay, I could crank the volume up, but I'm not gonna do that because it's annoying. Okay, then this one's gonna be off, so I'm gonna highlight cancel, cancel, and then type the word OFF, which is like off-putting, except off stabilizer. Okay, I'm gonna go to the off, which is actually really close. You don't have to stop for this one. As you can see, there's many, many things you can make it say, like no student signal. That is actually something you want.
That you would want to know.
Yeah. And this will also display on the screen while you're flying so you can know what you're doing. Okay, so cancel. Now this one's gonna say safe, which is sensor assisted, not aided. I used to say aided and somebody got all butthurt about it. Sensor assisted flight envelope.
You were wrong though.
I was wrong, but it was like who assisted and aided? Give me a break. Is there
Really
any
a big
difference?
difference.
It is an acronym after all. It's supposed to be a certain way. Okay, so we'll come back in a second. Okay, so here we go. Safe mode. Okay, AS3X mode. Whoops. Okay, so now that's done. Channel assign. We're gonna go in here. I want to unassign switch B from aux2 because I'm going to use that for flaps, which should happen there. And gear will be on A, incidentally, because we have retracts here. Okay. And aux2, I'm going to go ahead and assign right now to F mode. Now, previously I used to assign it to the D switch, but since D is attached to the flight mode, then really if we were to reassign, then it would just go with whatever the switch is, and that's fine. It doesn't really make a difference. We'll get back to that later. Okay. Now we can go into warnings and all that crap, but it'll be better after the telemetry preloads, okay? So we're gonna walk out, then we're gonna set up dual rates in Expo. Okay, so here we go. Switch F, we're gonna set it to 5. And then 10. Do you guys remember when I crossed out that part in the manual that told you all the throws? If you like doing it that way, congratulations. I have never done that in my entire experience in RC. Now, I'm not saying that you can't or that there's anything inferior to that in any way other than the fact that I've never done it. And by virtue of the fact that I've literally never done it, I just go ahead and set up some Expo and I set up AS3X and safe and I give myself an out and then I make some adjustments on my maiden flights. And by the way, anybody that's crazy enough to film themselves fly a maiden flight for the next, say, 450 planes, just do what I do. Which, by the way, it's like flying your maiden is usually for a pilot, it's one of the harder flights because, you know, you don't know what the plane's gonna do and you might crash into like a tiller or something.
Or a tree.
Or a tree.
Or the house.
Or the house. Or Megan.
That only happens once.
Or the animals. Or the chicken coop.
Okay,
so the rates are gonna be as such. 100%, 100%, and then 90. Okay, so this will be the softest stick. This is the Expo, 5, 10, and 20. And so I'm gonna start here. If I need to double, I can double or I can halve. So more sensitive, less sensitive. There's nothing magical about the choice of switch positions, but it's the same for all 3 axes of control. 3. Throttle cut. We're gonna turn that on with the switch H. Right there it says -100 and it's working. When I turn that off, I can see that it's live. Okay, throttle cut's on, good. Then we're gonna go to timer and we're gonna set it probably to 3 minutes. That's gonna warn us that like, holy crap, you're about to run out of battery is my guess. With a 1 out active, anything over 25% will activate the timer and it's gonna keep running. At 1 minute, I want a voice. 1 minute. 10 seconds, I want a tone and vibrate with a tone every minute thereafter. Well, tone and vibrate is, I want voice countdown. There. Sorry, voice countdown with a tone and vibrate expiration and tone every minute thereafter. And then our next thing would be to bind, but we gotta go over to monitor so we know where to plug things in. Throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, gear, flap, aux2, aux3, aux4, aux5. Okay, so we know where to find stuff. This is called the monitor. So if you go over like here, that's where your main screen is, and you can see it says AS3X off, safe, and she'll start talking again, okay? So this is where we want to be. All right, so now that we know where things are supposed to plug in, we have to do a couple of different things. And when I say different things, we eventually have to have this terminated to this in some way. Okay, now there's a number of different ways you can do it if you want the telemetry. Now, if you're spending the kind of cash it costs for this versus a 630 or 631, I would highly suggest you use this because it's a pretty expensive receiver. Well, I mean, it's not expensive compared to like some crazy expensive stuff, but it's more expensive in the spectrum sort of sphere of influence. So I'm gonna lay this down. Do you remember what I was talking about earlier? How this could go down in here. I'm not suggesting that's the solution, by the way. I'm just saying like you could hypothetically possibly fit it in here. And I'm just gonna show you how that would work if you did, okay? So those antennae will have to be addressed, obviously. And I just wanna talk about the fact that that does actually potentially fit, but it's kind of angular down there, so I'm not sure like how easy it's gonna be. Whoa, I got stuck to the tape, guys. You'll wanna be super careful about that. If that happens, don't break off the last 28 millimeters because that's where the active antenna is, okay? But you guys kind of see what I'm talking about here. If I were to kind of squish that in there, squish it in there, just like that, it actually wouldn't bother me at all because it's below where the battery tray comes out. And it might not be the worst spot in the world, but it's wanting to kind of poke up at a weird angle. And I don't want it to poke up at a weird angle. That would not be ideal, okay? So I think what I'm gonna do for the moment is I'm probably gonna lay this out of the way over here. And then I'm gonna lay this in something like that. It's probably just gonna make just as good a sense, okay? I would like to get it as generally central as possible. It does not need to be centered in the aircraft, although I tend to think it's better to have these things centered, okay? Excuse me. Okay, so in order to plug in, I've got my monitor over here so I can just kind of glance down. You guys remember where to see that. But at some point I am gonna have to land this on these wires. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this. One, you can actually press these connectors out and solder them on, or you can just like pierce them in and then hold them on here. I usually like to go up by the end, and that's what we're gonna do tonight as we normally would. And so what I do when I'm doing this is normally I get a toothpick, but I'm gonna go for something more serious tonight because we are a serious type of people here on Brian Phillips RC. We seriously love this hobby and we seriously appreciate you being here with us. So I'm seriously gonna use a 0.7 millimeter drive. And so if you guys are brand new to the channel and you wanna help support us, the best thing you can do is just literally look at the links in the video description below. When you buy planes from the links in the video description below, not only do you help to support the companies that support us by sending us product for review, you also help support us with financial contributions from the companies that we work with by way of commissions for sold product. That's always the way it's been ever since we started working with these companies, and we work with a bunch of them. That's why you see a whole slew of competitive brands. And make no mistake, they're all competitive. Even if they make the planes for each other, they're still competitive. We have companies that make the brands for two different types of brands and they're still competitive with each other. But at the end of the day, what's the best way to drive success in this hobby for us as consumers of this beautiful, wonderful hobby grade hobby would be to keep these companies accountable to people watching like you, and also have good relationships with them by helping to support them when they make products we do like. That's literally all you would have to do. I am gonna go one step further and actually secure the cable. That actually worked a lot better than toothpick, surprisingly.
Well, we'll just relabel that in the supplies section.
What, toothpick?
We'll put...
We have some tape here. This is black tape, it's almost out, okay? And then we also have clear tape, which I don't think I'm gonna use clear tape, hon. What am I gonna use?
You usually use like black electrical tape.
And then I'm gonna use a couple of zip ties. Okay?
Just to relieve the stress.
Yes, to relieve the stress on the way back to the actual thingamabobber. That would be technical terminology for the receiver.
Is there a reason that you poke your holes so close to the...
To the lead?
Yeah.
The only reason I do that is because of this gigantic wire and it's just
chase it back.
Creature of habit. Because if I try to do it back here, it's incredibly difficult to do. And
So it's just a laziness thing.
That would be one way of looking at it. And even if it is correct, it would still be only one way of looking at it. The truth is, I like where it is because I've got my reasons. I just can't think of them quickly to counter your lazy argument.
I'll go back to that.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cram this in there, and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna just stick this right down there. Right there. Now, you're probably thinking, but Brian, look how big that wire is, Brian. What's gonna happen? Oh man, that thing's gonna catch on fire and blow up in a million pieces. Yes, maybe if I put the wrong size cells in, or I get struck by lightning.
That's probably gonna happen anyway then.
If I get struck by lightning, that would suck. If this plane gets struck by lightning, it'd probably look fireball. But as you can see, I've now taped them, so you could just. So I'm going to demonstrate now by hanging. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. It'd come out immediately. But it's okay, because truth is, once we get this secured, it's going to be fine, pretty much into perpetuity. And you know, it's funny because you would think that that's going to be like kind of a problematic thing. It's really not. I promise it's not. It's not going to be a big problem. And then you can tie it like that, or you can just go up and down the length of it and just put a little bit of tape. And to be honest with you, the thing that is kind of nice about doing this, and I say this with all due respect to people that save receivers, because, you know, I get it, they're expensive. I would suggest that, you know, if you do this, it's a lot easier to pull it out than if you solder everything together. You can solder everything together, but at the end of the day, this is a digital multimeter that's going on here. There is no load, or very limited, like we're talking about milliamps of load, if that, milliamps, like very, very small current draw. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this all the way back. And what this is going to do for me is that's going to then trap the cable and relieve the pressure that could be exuded and pull these cables out. Then I'm going to take one additional piece of tape and hold these side by side so that it can't be undone easily. But when you're ready to yank that receiver out, you got a 30-second. I was going to say something that's inappropriate. So you're going to have a 30-second yank job.
Was that better?
It was the improved. I mean, it was better. But what I'm going to say is this is going to go back like that, and then this is going to come forward like that, okay? And you've seen us do it before on Brian Phillips RC the same way. It's just kind of a rinse and repeat sort of thing. Because at the end of the day, once you've watched 4 or 5 of our builds, you probably have gotten the hang of what you need to accomplish the goals that we have, which is to build these planes in a way that gets you in the air and helps you find success. That's what we do on Brian Phillips RC. We do this because we care about the community of RC pilots. We understand that the best way to drive down the cost of ownership and entry to the products is to keep these building the planes accountable. And that's by telling the truth about the planes, and also to encourage you to buy them, because if there is more sales of a given plane, regardless of their overall beauty, then the price will eventually come down. Now, I'm not saying on that particular plane it's going to be like some big, you know, like if you go out and buy like 100 of these things, they're going to reduce the price by 50%. But if the companies are profitable, then they're going to reinvest more of that money, and the proceeds are going to get turned around into more new and exciting planes, okay? And that's just business 101, unless they decide they're getting ready to liquidate and get out altogether, which truthfully, it would be probably easier than staying in business. When it comes to RC, it's one of the most difficult ways to make a buck. We say it all the time, and I firmly believe it. FMS and all of their brand competitive brands are pretty much crazy people, okay? The people that run these brands love this hobby. They love this sport. Now, some of them also love to make money. And I know you're thinking, yeah, whatever, man, they're expensive. Life is expensive. That's the truth. And then you die. Okay, all right, throttle. So channel 1 is throttle, not to be confused with the bind program, okay? Now, how do we know where the black goes? The black is ground. The positive is red, and then the signal is white. In this case, it's the Futaba color code. And so S is going up based on the silk screen, minus is going down based on the silk screen, okay? So that's throttle. Then we're going to go next to, it says ailerons next. Okay. Okay, so here's ailerons. And also for those of you that don't understand how much work goes into this channel, because you haven't been watching for very long, just remember my wife stays home with her kids. We have 4 kids. And when I say stays at home, I mean she stays at home and works on the channel. Pretty much like 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And so she works her tail off, and she doesn't love this stuff like I do. I love this stuff. I would probably do it regardless, but when there's that much time invested for an entire family, there are some pretty significant costs associated to that. So just keep that in mind, guys. I do love this hobby. I do love flying radio controlled. I do want to see success for all of you guys watching. I want you to have the best crack at success by giving you the most truthful, all-inclusive image and trying to hone in on the details even when I'm distracted by the sheer beauty of the planes. Like this one. It's very distracting. I can hardly look away. Flaps. So flaps need to go into channel
6.
Yes, 6er. Okay. And then this is the landing gear or the retracts in this case. So there's kind of a weird white cable here. So I'll slide that in and just slither that right into the opening. Okay. All right, wonderful. Great, grand, wonderful. Okay, all right. So now what we need to do is we need to figure out a way to make this mess slide all the way back in there. Okay. So we could bind now if you wanted, but it would probably be better to just get this thing installed. Now, let's talk about this additional unnecessary wire that we have opted into. I don't like the way that that's going. So I'm gonna unplug it and I'm gonna just chase this where the other wires go. Okay, so it's gonna go under like that. And you could tie it with this wire in a number of different ways, but I'm gonna do it in the most difficult and time consuming. Okay. So I'm just gonna wrap it around here and see how terrible this works on this go round. Cable management is strangely exciting for my wife to watch.
It is?
Yes, she loves it. It's one of her favorite things in life. She didn't even know it when we were dating. If she would have known it, oh man, it would have been dangerous. Right?
You would have had a different camera crew.
That might have been a dream I had. I'm sorry.
Must have been.
Yeah, I just got confused. That happens sometimes to people like me. Okay, so here it is. So you see this? Now I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna pull this back. I'm gonna pull this out of the way. And what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna try to kind of contort this in such a way that I've got that. And then like, oh yeah, if you could just grab the end of that and just hold it in your hand. Just kind of fold it out of the way so that you've got room to kind of fiddle with it the way that it needs to be fiddled with. Okay, so you see what's going on here, guys, is I'm gonna stick this down and it's gonna be glorious. Then these antenna leads will have to be dealt with, okay? So that's actually not, it's not that great, but I actually don't hate it totally.
No, it's...
I mean, it's still like, I mean, if you take off the lid and you look inside, you're like, wow, it's kind of looks nice in there compared to other angles. What?
What are you sticking that down with?
I'm glad you asked, camera crew. I think today we're gonna use some China glue.
Oh.
It's Chinese and it's glue. China glue is the glue that they use in China and other places.
Thank you for the clarification.
And so what they do is they glue these halves of these foam models together with China glue. This is FMS China glue. That's not the way it's labeled.
We should really get them to label theirs in your handwriting.
Okay. I would brand that. So it's kind of like a laser engraved banana. If you guys haven't seen the banana video, you'll want to check it out.
Yeah,
we laser engraved a banana. It was awesome. Okay, so guys, look at this. So I'm gonna lift this up. It might get excited and like spritz out a little bit.
Spritz.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's powerful and stable and rigid. And it might spritz out a little bit if you're not careful. So I'm just gonna spritz a little bit on here. Squeeze the tube. Oh yeah. Okay, so you're probably thinking to yourself, goodness gracious, Brian, that seems like a lot of sticky stuff. When you're excited and you see just how good this thing looks coming out of the box.
No shortage of sticky stuff?
None. It's just gonna keep coming forever. Okay, so we're gonna just spread this out right there and it's gonna go right on the spot we want it. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something that I do worse than anything in my life.
Wait.
I'm gonna be patient. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna cap this off. Now this stuff is like a contact adhesive. So if you're using China glue, what you do is you slather it on, and then you just leave the surfaces separate and then you stick it together and they never to be separated again. Or if you want, you can put some kicker on there and it will literally, quite literally, break down the bonds. Okay?
Is it raining or snowing or something?
Let's show the people.
Sorry, I was distracted.
Yes, it's snowing, guys, because that's disgusting. Yeah, that's snow.
Yep.
Dang
Our
it.
kids were literally playing outside in flip-flops this morning.
I was wearing shorts. I wasn't wearing shorts. I wore shorts now.
Don't let your head on them.
So guys, this is probably good now. How do you know if it's good enough? When you stick the thing to the other thing, it will stick together. Watch.
That's amazing.
I know. Words of wisdom from Brian Phillips RC. But seriously though, this is not a hard thing to do. If it doesn't stay in position, you might want to just pull them apart and let them tack a little bit longer. Yeah, let that stuff cook off until it works. I'm going to use 2 fingernails to pull this ball out. Oh yeah. Oh, whoop. Ugh, never mind. Okay, so as you can see, it's held in position. And you're probably wondering to yourself, but then what about like vibration and that sort of, you know, like mechanical noise that might be translated to the transmitter? You know, you can use double-sided tape and it's probably fine.
I would say based on the technology and the space age design of the plane, there should be no vibration.
Well, it's rigid.
Like seamless.
Powerful.
Yes.
Rigid.
Can you take that
Powerful.
that piece of tape off and put the antenna in there? Or
Listen.
do you have a plan?
I came with tape
Sorry,
and an X-Acto knife.
not my build.
And, yes, that's right. And then a 0.7 millimeter.
Millimeter.
It's
Right.
extra small. Okay, so listen, this is serious law though. 90 degrees of each other is what they're going for here. And I really don't, I don't think it's gonna be a problem.
There's a little hole down there.
What? No, it's not.
It's not?
That's not a hole.
Oh.
That, what you're looking at there.
That's where the wing spar goes
That's
through.
the wing spar.
Oh, that's why it's a different
So
color.
like you would not want to,
No, you would
yeah,
not.
you would not want to stick it in there because you might chop it off the next time. But what you can do is, I kind of like the idea of protecting the antenna lines, and that's why I brought this knife, so I could slice it. Watch this, guys, watch this. Find where you want to be and then just slice and just make a channel. Okay, so I can get down to this low point. Now the other option is you could try to pierce it like this. Okay, folks, see what I'm talking about? Now I'm gonna take this from way up here. This is not to be kinked. It's not kinky for one thing. And for two, if you kink it, you may damage it. Serious law, kids. Kids and folks. Okay. So I'm gonna cut this at a slight angle, as you can tell. I'm kind of going in at an angle, that's intentional. I haven't stabbed myself for a while, so I gotta kind of be careful, yeah. I'm gonna just ram this right in there, and you're like, that seems just too easy to be true. I know, it does, doesn't it? All the Brian Phillips RC videos make these complex tasks seem harder than they should be. I'm sorry, easier.
Too easy to be true. That is not our channel.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, so you see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of chasing to a path where I can protectively evacuate and then go at 90 degrees of each other. And I've got 28 millimeters that I would like to tape down, but I don't want, I don't want to have problems with these things. Because like I've almost never had problems with these because of the 90 degrees. But that is kind of the rule of thumb, folks. So I think I kind of like my wife's idea about this, but then I'm just sort of kicking myself, like would I have been better to just go like back here? Or should I just stuff it in and be done with it?
I'd probably just stuff it in, at least that one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I gotta make sure I don't have problems. Okay, I'm thinking I can't really get it to stick in there. There is a channel there actually, hun. Oh crap, there's a channel there. I didn't recognize that there was actually a genuine channel there. Like seriously, look, there's an actual opening.
That's what I was talking about.
No, I thought you were talking about just like where it was taped down. I didn't realize that there was actually a channel there. The channel goes all the way through, you see? Mm-hmm. That I didn't know. Sorry, hon, I missed that detail. You were right, I was wrong.
I'm just glad we got that on film.
Yep, once every 10 years. So guys, look, I'm gonna take and cut another channel here. Now this is obviously optional, but it's just kind of just an easy insurance policy to keep the antennas from getting damaged. And you're probably thinking to yourself, it seems like a lot of work, Brian. You just taped all that crap together on the power cord. Yes, that's true. But remember, the power cord has a test point for voltage alarm. That is not going to crash your plane, but guess what will?
Losing receiver signal.
Yeah, and that creates a dangerous condition too. Because we're talking about a 100+ mile an hour plane here. We're not talking about child's play here. We're talking about a very, very quick plane, and you want to be as safe as possible when you've got something fast. When you yield that much power to make people cringe. I mean, smile. You guys see this? Look. I'm gonna bring this down here. And my objective is, if I can get to where the 28 millimeters could be consumed, I could go vertical here. If I can figure out a way to get rid of this excess. But I'm just thinking, every time I pull this, the battery tray out here, folks, this is why it matters, okay? And oh, that is so annoying. It catches every time and you gotta pull it twice. That's so strange. I'm genuinely concerned about the way this is gonna get damaged, if it does. That would be bad. Okay, so I'm just gonna chase along here and see if I can get down there, okay? So now, if you guys are brand new and you don't know what we do on this channel, I'm sure you probably have figured it out. We basically build these things, we show you how to do it, and we try to give you some help setting it up. Now, some of you have chosen to do set up a little bit different than what we might, and that's fine. There's obviously a lot of freedom within this hobby, and we want to keep it that way, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we do this, is because we want to keep growing the hobby for everybody, and as we grow our hobby, then our legislative power and might will grow too, because this is, after all, a regulated industry, which is stupid, but that's what happens when people vote for control-hungry politicians that enable other unelected bureaucrats to make rules for our lives. Okay, wonderful. Enough about that. So this is taped down, that's taped down. This is already taped down because of the case, because it goes through that opening there. And then this one comes down and it gets out of the vulnerable spot. So now what I'm thinking about doing is I'd really, really like to somehow run that. I don't like the idea of jumping across, but I think I'm gonna have to, okay? So then I'm just gonna carry this in here, okay? And I'm just walking into that spot. It does not need to be perfect. It does not need to be as I've done it here, but you can copy if you want. So now I'm gonna take and just jump up and hopefully be able to get this pressed down into the opening. Okay, you see what's happening, folks? Just slide that in. And once I get that in, I can pull it back just a hair so that I can very carefully push this in. See, now the 28 millimeters is protected. And I know some of you are thinking, but Brian, you have undermined your antenna's performance by stuffing that into foam. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is not the case. And if you're right and I lose signal, then I will be the first to admit I was wrong, because I was wrong that one time. Right, hon?
Yeah, the few minutes ago time? Or
that might have been what I was talking about. Okay, so now when I pull this out, if this hits, gosh, that is redonkulous. Why is it so weird? Every time I do it, I have to do it twice. I don't understand it. Like, I literally don't know what I'm doing wrong here. All right, so we're getting ready to bind. Do I need to do anything with all these wires, you suppose?
I don't know, besides just shoving back there.
I mean, I could throw like zip ties on there, but I just don't think it's gonna add anything.
I don't think it's gonna matter.
Or is it? Or is it? Maybe one zip tie? Or is that necessary even?
You're gonna have to take the whole bunch out just to put one zip tie around it. So
no.
You put it right back in the same spot.
No, I'm gonna put the one zip tie on.
I mean, if it makes you feel better about.
It makes me feel a lot better.
Okay.
It doesn't make me feel just a little bit better. It makes me feel a lot better. Because I just feel like if I don't do it, I'm gonna end up regretting it. And then every time I pull that battery out, I'm gonna have problems like I have currently already had. Okay. All right, so guys, what I'm saying is right here. I'm gonna go in here. This is gonna stay put, and then I'm gonna go around here, okay?
Okay.
So I'm just gonna fold this, and then I'm gonna fold this, and then I'm gonna fold this. Watch. Watch this. Watch this. Boom.
You have to show the people what you did.
That's what I did.
There you go. Your hand was in the way.
Well, you're in charge of the camera.
You're in charge of your giant hand.
Okay, well, it's better than small hands, I guess.
It's true.
Rigid.
And powerful.
Okay, all right, there it is. Okay, it's about done now. So now all we need to do is just follow these important instructions covered in the highlighter. So we have the radio setup mostly done. So now it's just a matter of actually.
We haven't even done forward programming.
What are you talking about?
And then we have
Forward
to put on
programming is easy.
437 control horns.
I wanted to talk about that for a minute.
Yes.
So it is possible, guys, and this does occasionally happen when we get these early release planes, that you will not have to do as much effort.
You're telling me they're not going to have to put their linkages on?
I know, it'll make you jealous. So what we need to do now is we need to put a battery in here, and this is a ball link tool, okay? We'll have that ready, and then we're probably gonna need needle nose pliers. We're gonna have to mark the CG at some point, but I think our next step needs to be,
Binding, right?
Yeah, well, we need to bind, but what I'm saying is our next step probably needs to be to get these pliers.
Did you get a battery while you're there?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, and you distracted me out of it, almost. 3250C, this is not the one we're flying with. Oh, that one's done though. The one that we are flying with is done.
Right.
So because it's done now, we could also use a 4000 6S50C. But I'm probably gonna get as big a battery as I can fit, unless of course it makes us way too nose heavy. Now, one thing I have to admit, as I've advanced as a pilot, meaning I've gotten a little bit better over the years, I'm still not an amazing pilot. I'm a pretty average pilot, if that. I have learned that tail-heavy jets tend to, come around, please, goodness gracious. I literally don't know what I'm doing
You have to
wrong.
like work it in and out some more.
No, that's not it though. There's gotta be something going on with this.
That it's catching on?
It's catching on something. I don't know. But I don't want people to think it's gonna be a problem if it's just like something weird on mine. High quality straps, guys, okay? And we need to put some shelf liner.
Oh,
We need shelf liner.
that's good because you haven't walked to the end of the cabinet yet 37 times in this video.
Yeah, you know, I noticed that was happening too. I did. And then I realized that it's part of the job,
It is.
right?
You have pre-cut shelf liner?
Yeah. We're not gonna need much, and we've got China glue.
That's true.
That cat just looked up like, I didn't just do.
She's,
Every time that you catch her doing something, she looks up like,
I know, she's like a 3-year-old.
I didn't do anything. I don't know why you're looking over
She
here.
wants to go outside, but she would literally be blown to the next state.
Okay, so right there.
That's what you're doing?
What? What do you mean that's what I'm doing? Like, you think that's a problem? What, should I just do? I think what we should do is probably do just a little bit there.
Oh, just gonna make a big goopy mess.
It doesn't need to be that much though,
No, it
folks. Seriously, because all you're doing is just adding a little extra resilience to this because the straps are easy to put on this, okay? So remember, if you put a ton of glue, this China glue will make a mess, okay? So you wanna be a little bit sparing on this step, okay? You really, and I'm not just saying this, you don't need a lot. It's just there to tack it in, okay? This is not like the receiver where you need the receiver to stay in there to like save you from dying and stuff.
And for the people playing along at home, yes, he's keeping that little piece that he just put back on the shelf. So you can mark that off on your bingo sheet of
Did you
things
say
Brian hoards.
Playing along at home, good
Should be
lord.
like a drinking game of how many times.
Drinking water.
Yes.
Water.
It's important to be hydrated before you go
Yes,
and fly.
you guys are going to be extra hydrated when you
And make
watch
sure you
Brian.
pack your lunch.
Pack your lunch so that if you fly into the Boskage.
You won't be hungry.
If you guys don't know what Boskage is, just talk to the Chinese.
Welcome
They
to
assume we
America.
use it all the time. Boskage is like a bush. Wow.
It's a little sick.
Wow. Okay.
It is easy to strap down your battery when you can take it out
Listen,
the plane.
this is a far cry from the last one we did. That was,
Yes.
both of them were kind of not so
Well,
good.
the one was definitely worse than.
Yeah, it was more of a pain. Now, one thing I just want to mention about this pack is the girth. The girth is a factor, okay? If it's too wide, you will have trouble getting this tray to slide.
I think you're gonna have to get your Velcro thingies up on top.
I know, that's what I'm afraid of too. Do you know what, just point out what you're talking about.
This plastic tab is gonna have to go up on top because it's making it extra wide.
Okay, like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
beautiful.
Did I look serious enough?
The battery doesn't slide when you hold
Here,
it.
you do it.
What?
Just go up and down.
Just up and down,
Just like
like
up
this?
and down, really fast. Most played section of the video. Oh, what the frick? Do you see this,
Oh,
guys?
yeah, that's not even close.
Oh, it's a tight squeeze.
That's not gonna go.
First, the ball links.
You're not carving.
If this was a
plane.
folded manual, we may have
it would
been.
be all over.
Yeah.
That's not going in there, huh?
Listen.
Oh,
I'm a survivor.
oh my.
Hold on a second. This goes the other way. Oh my goodness.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't.
It does.
Right. Look at it from this side.
No, I'm saying it's not ambidextrous. I'm saying it does snap in there.
You're not. That battery is not going in that hole. Or if it is, it's not coming out.
Yeah. Tomahawk. I'm just trying not to say anything that might get me in trouble.
How much smaller is a 4000 though? See, look, you have foam on the battery.
I think we're gonna have to trim this, hon. I'm serious. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I knew you were gonna throw a fit when I did this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just finish this build with a couple extra, what would be unnecessary steps. But listen, camera crew, it's okay. It's
You
okay.
still have to put on all the control linkages.
Just relax, we'll get this. Don't worry. Maybe before the kids graduate college. Okay. Oh yeah, right there. Ooh, look at that.
You did not watch it go in from the back. Like, there's no trimming.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I did. So, listen. If you guys are trying to get an angle of watching it going from the back, as camera crew said, what I would suggest is A, get your life insurance up to date. And then B, you're gonna have to trim. And I'm sorry to break it to you.
Oh, that's a lot.
Listen, you gotta keep this tab here, because that's gonna set. I'll have to redesign the canopy, but then maybe it'll be.
You're just trying to redesign the canopy.
Well, I mean, that could be. Whoa, that kind of pisses me off right there.
What?
Look, it ripped my battery.
I know. I told you were forcing it in too hard.
Freaking son of a biscuit. That pisses me off, actually. Hold on, I have to repair my battery. Look at this. It's like a freaking brand new battery.
Yeah, I know.
That pisses me off. Come on, FMS. What the heck? All right, I gotta go do some surgery. If you haven't seen an emergency surgery on Brian Phillips lately, watch this. We're gonna use a tool that's rarely used on RC aviation channels.
A butter knife?
No, we haven't used that for a while. We only use that to make fun of people.
Why did you cut it?
Because I don't want that ripping off.
Over it? Oh, I thought you were just going to tape over it with like electrical tape.
Why? No, I'm gonna like literally figure out why this tab is here and what's its purpose in life is right before I rip it off.
Pretty sure it was to keep the thing in.
Well, too late now. That does tick me off. I don't like when my batteries get damaged without me crashing into a wall at like 140 miles an hour. Because then it's kind of cool. Also, we've had these battery trays like this that have worked in the past, and what we've had to do to make them work sometimes is we've had to put the batteries like in different orientations / take the battery tray out. We literally had to take the battery tray out in a couple of different planes.
I'm not sure there's an orientation that's gonna work for this.
Yeah, but then look what's there. It's gonna have a freaking opening.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see if my adjustment. Ooh, that's almost like somebody knows what they're doing. Ooh, that's other than the fact that the strap is tight. Oh wow, that's so weirdly perfect now. Oh, all at once. Oh, it's in. It's in.
So if you can just cut the janky piece out of your plane.
Hey, I have an idea. You guys want to watch how this is gonna go? Get ready. Watch this.
Yes. Yep. They're going in the drawer.
Watch this. Watch this. Watch this, guys.
Our kids know when they find things. They know which little random pieces.
You never know when you're gonna need a piece of foam.
Never. The answer is never.
The answer is tomorrow.
No.
Like when I have to get this battery out again. All right, so listen, we're ready to bind this thing. We're not ready to do all the setup. Let's talk about binding. This is very seriously important, okay? We gotta get this thing back, clearing all the gear so that when the gear like pop open unexpectedly, we have to be prepared for that, okay?
Okay.
Then this is gonna be for the linkages, which are over there, okay? So you guys ready? First things first, throttle cuts on, throttle sticks down, verify -100, okay? Middle for Expo, flaps have not been set up or assigned, okay? Which we already know that, okay? 1, 2, oh, so close. That was like anticlimactic, I would say. Oh man, look at that, that's so bright.
They're bright.
Oh yeah, I love it. Okay, so now everybody listen. Oh, it's a white light, cool. Okay, listen, I'm gonna stick my finger into the socket here. Okay, it's flashing. Now watch this. Bind. Binding. Guys, it's, ooh. The bind is complete. Watch this, gear. Oh yeah! Oh, I mean, those are big boys. Big boys and girls. Rock hard, come on, man, seriously. Oh yeah. Okay. I need to flip my switch because this is in the opposite condition that I would normally have it, so that's the first setup. So I'm gonna go to travel, I'm gonna reverse the gear, okay. Okay, good job me. Now I have the gear retracted intentionally, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this plane forward and I'm gonna put the canopy on. I mean, you know, it's, by the way, this is a solid canopy. There's nothing in there, which.
Would it be better if there was?
I'm just saying that. It seems strange to me that they would do that. All right, so now we need to figure out what direction things are gonna go so we can start moving stuff. We don't know what direction that's gonna be, but we do need to know what hole to stick it in.
Well, that's true.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the holes, which are on this page right there, okay? Boom, you can pause it if you need to see. I need you to scooch over there so I can do this, okay? So now let's look at these control linkages so we know which one's the longest and shortest. It should be all, I think they're all the same, but sometimes you're wrong when you make that assessment. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my pliers so that this is easier on my thumbs. On the rudder, you're supposed to be in the outside hole to the outside hole. Okay, so grab it with the flat part without the teeth, okay? And then turn this, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So we've got it turned a couple of times, 1, 2, 3. Why do I always count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, all that stuff? Because it just helps me process all of it, okay? So this is already set. So now I'm gonna turn this in because I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't have to worry about that popping out. Okay, now I have to center this, boom. You guys see what I'm doing? I'm centering this. You could also center it here. Very thick, robust rudder. I love it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still not quite enough. There's 6. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. When I spoke too soon. Okay. So now remember, this is at an angle, so it's gonna like slide back slightly. Okay, there we go. So rudder, incorrect. So I'm gonna go servo setup, travel, scroll to reverse, rudder. Okay. Ailerons are working, elevator's working, flaps are not set up. Okay. And we don't care yet, because really at this point, all we have to do is get all these surfaces going in the right direction. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this plane over, and we're gonna do the tail. By the way, check out that light. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the lights are nice.
Very nice, very bright.
Yep.
Yep, these are day bright lights, so they should be pretty easy to see in flight. I'm a sucker for LEDs, okay? So grab this and spin in and out. Elevator is going to go from outside to outside, okay? So that means we're gonna go like this. We're gonna go in, we're gonna turn it, whatever direction it needs to be. Then I'm gonna take and hold this. Elevators are really nice. All these surfaces are really nice. I just kind of wish there was like maybe, you know, like the looks lined up a little bit closer to what I was hoping for, you know? Or am I crazy? Okay, so that's gonna snap on. How do we know that's correct? That actually needs to come out half a turn, okay? Hold this there, snap it on. If you don't want to snap it on, you can use a tool like this, and then you can slide this over, and then it just pops it right on. Okay, pretty exciting stuff. I went too far, actually. Okay, I just got to get in here and pop that forward a little bit. Gosh, I didn't know you could even do that, but you can evidently force those on too far. Okay, so the elevator's going the right direction, which is kind of handy. Okay, camera crew, other side, please. Okay, so same thing outside to outside, just turn in a couple of turns, make sure they added this. They must have had a different design without it before. Okay, so there's that. So obviously that's way too far. If I were to hook that up, this plane would roll like crazy, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's pretty dang close there. Okay, so I'm just gonna back this off so it's neutrally straight there. That's pretty good. This one's actually going up slightly, dang it. Why is it going up slightly? Look, it's going up slightly. Mm-hmm. I must have done a terrible job. Okay, so watch this. Now I can pop that off. I gotta go on deeper and deeper. Pop that out. Goodness gracious. I gotta say, this tool has not been my favorite tool. I gotta get a better one. It's too thick. Or I need to take it down to the bench grinder and just like grind this down so it's like sharp like a knife. Okay, so I need to come in 1/2 a turn. There we go. That's actually quite a bit better. Okay, much better. Same thing here. I think we're at the same angle. Should be about right. Should be about right. So now I can take this and just push that on. Very nice. Okay, elevator up, elevator down. Good. All right, so now we need to do the ailerons. What is that?
What?
Oh, I thought it was a stick.
No, there's no tape over that. I noticed that earlier.
Heck? Why?
And they taped over everything else. I don't know why they didn't tape over that.
Probably because they missed it.
They ran out of tape.
All right, so this is gonna be the same exact thing it looks like on the ailerons. We're going outside to the next from the outside. So the second from the outside on this, okay? So we're gonna hold this in the central position, making sure we're not in safe or AS3X is activated, because that could cause this to be out of its neutral position. So now I'm gonna turn this in, 1, 2, 3. Yep, another 1/2 a turn. And there we are, guys. That's pretty dang good right there. By the way, thanks for being part of this RC experience with Brian Phillips RC. We know these videos are long and tedious. Just kind of depends on the build. We try not to make them any more tedious than they have to be, but then I'm involved.
I was gonna say.
Flaps. But all joking aside, we appreciate you guys being here, part of this RC clan, if you will. If you want to help support us, buy from the links in the video description below. It's the best way you can support us. If you want to be a Patreon or PayPal member, PayPal would be like a one-time donation. One more 1/2 a turn. One more. Ugh, we're right on the edge. I pulled hard. Okay, so let's look at this. Yeah, it's going to be good. PayPal's one-time donations, and Patreon is a monthly support thing, just like YouTube members. So we appreciate you guys. If you're an ordinary, a regular, if you will, on Patreon, we just want you guys to know we appreciate you. But if you're considering becoming a Patreon, consider buying planes. We want you to be flying with us and not just watching us and living vicariously through this wonderful experience. I was going to say something else, but I can't say that.
Well, I'm going to say, we've met some pretty amazing people that we would have never, ever met.
Amazing.
If it weren't for
The YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's really cool, and we really appreciate it, seriously. And it's been an amazing experience. It's been a lot of work, and we couldn't have done it without you guys, because if you weren't coming back, there would be, like, we would have given up a long time ago. We already feel like giving up a lot as it is, but it's harder than it looks, guys. You may have noticed. For all of you that have YouTube channels and have, you know, like 17 subscribers, and we know how hard it is. And to be honest with you,
filmed thousands and thousands of hours with your spouse.
How hard it is to not have been murdered. It is very difficult for me. It's kind of like a miracle, actually, if you think about it. If you wrote that down on paper when we were reading our vows, would you just run? Would you be like a runaway bride?
Like, sorry,
yeah, no.
My shoe might be stuck in the electrical outlet in the floor that I'm standing on, but I'm still wanting to run away.
True story.
Yep.
But it's okay. She didn't fall.
I didn't.
Okay, I'm going to push this on. You guys see what I'm doing? I'm just lining them up at either end of the controls. Just make sure they work. Now, that, admittedly, I got to say, that went way quicker and easier than I thought it was going to do.
Well, it's nice when they're all the same. You don't have to like decipher and try and figure out which is which. And that does help.
Also, yes. All yeses.
Still annoyed.
Yes, yes. And yes, still annoyed.
Slightly less.
So we can put these things away. Now, let's talk about the next step. The next step is pretty straightforward. What we're going to do is we are going to make sure the control surfaces are all in the right direction. We already started this. And, you know, like our next thing in the manual is going to be right here. And some idiot wrote all over this, so it's hard to read. I will find out who that is and talk to him.
Okay.
I will give him a strict talking to. Oh, this is down a little bit. I don't really care for that. You see that? So I just bent it back. Elevator up, elevator down. Roll left. Okay, so that's wrong. So we'll go to aileron, reverse, roll left, roll right, elevator up, elevator down. Yaw left, yaw right. I can't do the gear right now because I'm not in a position to do it. So now what we need to do is go to the flaps. Flap system, attached to B. Elevator, I'm gonna set it to 6 and 10 because they're inboard flaps. That will give us at least a starting point for correction on the elevator. And now that we've already mixed this in, we can see that change. Let's do 12 and 8, actually. It's a big plane. Whoops. I don't know which way I'm gonna do this, so I'm gonna set this one to 0. Okay, so that would be incorrect. Ooh, they're going up. They're going up. What the heck? Oh, man. We might need... No, what I'm saying is they're going up, which means I might need to redo that.
Oh, if they go up further than...
Well, let's see how much we can get out of the downward stroke, because we might be okay with that. That's surprisingly centered because of the way I configured it. We might get enough. Oh yeah, that might be good. Might be. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's probably okay, but you can also go into the servo setup, travel, and you can go to flaps. And you can open that up. Are we gonna have bind? Let's tip the plane and look. So far, so good. That's 150 right there. Now, also, I just want to talk about this. If you want more stroke on this, that's actually not a problem. I'm going to clear that. If you want more stroke on this, all you have to do is basically take this off, or take this off, drop the servo down, undo the screw, run your travels all the way to the top and the bottom in flap system right here. So you can set this to -100 and then relocate. But I don't think you're gonna get away with it on this plane. If you want more stroke, I would probably do that. What the heck is that? Ooh. Did you see that?
Yeah, that.
I don't like that at all. That side, is this side the same way? Yeah, I don't like that at all. We're gonna probably have to pull that off because I feel like we don't have enough penetration there. Okay, so let's try the flaps. Yeah, okay. Dang it. Well, we've got, see, we're at 0. We can definitely put it in more. Okay, guys, sometimes we do things and it doesn't work out the way we want. This is one of those times, but we're gonna show you how to absolve ourselves of the potential criticisms, crash, and difficulties that would come from that sort of thing. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this thing off right now. If I can just pry it off. We could also do it the right way, which would be easier maybe a little bit. See what I'm talking about, guys? This thing is just a little bit too thick. I have another one downstairs. So I'm gonna have to get the other one down or the other one out. Because I'm gonna end up breaking that thing is what's gonna happen. Okay, so you guys see what's going on here? I'm toward the end of the stroke here. Let's see how many turns I have. 1, 2, 3. There's quite a few turns. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's gonna give us a lot more. And you know what? I'm just gonna go way in because there's no reason. We have tons of stroke here. But in order to do this without causing damage, we have to pop off the other side too, right here. And so folks, I apologize for not having caught this before. Admittedly, this would be something that'd be kind of nice if I would have caught it, because if you're following along at home, it would have been easier. Okay, so that one fit fine. Okay, so now that we've done that, I can turn this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got tons of penetration now. So now I want you guys to pay attention to what I'm gonna do. This is kind of a weird way. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this now all the way until it's neutral. So it should be like 100. Okay, so there's 100, and look at that. We can go one more turn, half, and that gets us right to level. That's pretty awesome. Okay, now that's on. Okay, now I'm gonna scroll down here in the flap system and go from normal to 2 seconds because we don't wanna move that fast. So that's way too much for takeoff. So I'm gonna go from here, I'm gonna clear it to 0, and I'm actually gonna run it to probably like -50, okay? So that'd be like takeoff flaps, maybe a little bit more. Let's do -35, okay? Then we'll do 100. Oh yeah, we're good now. I love it. Okay, so now I can park them all the way up here at -100, okay? So now I can do, all I have to do is like what I did at the beginning when I had not yet screwed it up, okay? Just run it over. This robot plane stand is kind of nice, guys. We've had pretty good luck with it. It's got its challenges, but okay, so now look at this. Now I can just push this right to match. Oh, yes. That is so lucky. It's just like lined up. By the way, that usually doesn't happen. Okay, so now take off flaps, landing flaps. Oh yeah, they look good here. It seems like this one's not deployed quite as far, so I wanna just double check that this isn't overshooting. See how it's up past center? I think I might have overshot just a hair. And then this one is not. Okay, so that's what's going on. So I need to pop this off and take it out half a turn, see if we can improve. So if you're trying to pop these off, the way this is supposed to work is that thing goes right on the screw, and then this pries it, okay? So you have to be able to slide it in and then pry this. Of course it works perfect on this now. Okay, so I'm gonna go out half a turn, which should push this up just, or wait, I need to go in half a turn. There's 1, there's 2. So that's where I started from, and yeah, that's it's gonna be close now. You always gotta make sure your deployment is super similar, because if it's not, you'll get you induce a certain amount of yaw or roll or a little bit of both, okay? So obviously that's not what you want from flaps, so you don't wanna do that. Okay, so we're almost done with the setup, dudes and dudettes. 7 dudettes. Okay, so check this out. Oh yeah, that's so sweet. All right, so now I'm actually just wanted to double check that I had all my switches and controls in the right direction. So now what I want to do is I want to get this plane level. So camera crew, if you could help me with the levelness of the model. So I want it to fly like this. It does have kind of a sweet tail angle. That's really cool. And the shape of the wing is cool. But then it's like, okay. All right, so here's the thing. We have elevator going the right direction. We have ailerons, come over here. Elevator up and down, roll left, roll right. Take off flaps. Oops, see how I hit? Gotta move that forward. Take off flaps, landing flaps with elevator correction. Got some barn doors there. So everything's working right. And now what we need to do is we need to go into forward programming and set up our AS3X and safe. If you guys are brand new to the hobby and you don't know what the heck we're doing, remember, we're binding to this. This is a transceiver. It's a transmitter and a receiver. It's getting telemetry data back from the receiver. And we've already talked about this in some detail. But we have to be bound. Then we have to set up all the surfaces so that the system knows what it's dealing with. Then we go into forward programming and we set up the accessories like AS3X and safe. Okay, so we're gonna go to gyro setup, first time setup. Make sure blah, blah, blah. That's what I just explained. Set the model level, hit continue, and then set it on its nose and hit continue. So this is where I lift it up and literally place it on its nose so it can use its sensors to tell what the position of the receiver is, okay? Highlight continue and continue. Orientation 1, let's go ahead and verify that that's correct, and I think it is. So we'll pop off the hood. And there you go, guys. Look at that. That's the way it's orientated. So I'm going to flip around the transmitter for easy visualization. The airplane's going that way. The Spectrum logo is going that way. Okay. So I got to say, it's really easy to put the battery in this. Wait, now. And it's really easy to plug in the batteries, which is nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
Okay, so orientation 1. So that's the first step so that the spatially aware receiver will know where it is in time and space as there's movements on the plane. Okay, so you ready? Okay, so we're gonna go continue, gain channel select. Okay, so we can tell there's some information here. Right knob is on aux 3, so that's what we're gonna set it to. This is our master gain. Okay, so aux 3 via the right knob. We're gonna apply, it's rebooting. You're gonna hear a dance. Listen. One dance. When safe is on, it'll be 2 dances. Okay, so click to reboot. So we're gonna go back in, we're gonna go to gyro settings, F mode setup, the flight mode setup. So FM channel, it's gonna be the F mode. It's asking you what channel to call out.
Aux 2.
And you can see it says F mode, okay? Now watch, flight mode 1, flight mode 2, flight mode 3. Remember, those are just labels. So in this mode, I want AS3X active. In this mode, I want it off.
AS3X mode off.
This is going to be safe, so I want AS3X active there. Okay. Now I'm going to go to first time safe setup. F mode, verify, let it populate. Continue. I'm setting it in flight mode 3. Next. Next. Now I'm going to level the attitude and capture it. I'm going to level the plane and make sure it is as level as possible. Does that look pretty level to you?
It does.
So once you're level, it's probably going uphill slightly, but we'll still go ahead and level attitude. Okay, so it looks like we have nothing. That's pretty good. And if you're in doubt, just do it again. Okay, pretty good. Okay, so now it's going to populate the screen, and I'm going to go inhibit. I'm going to highlight it and scroll it to self level with angle demand. And these are the default settings. So I'm going to go ahead and pitch down. I'm going to set that to like 60 because I want to be able to pitch down and pitch up more. Now, if you're a beginner, you can limit those, and I'm going to allow for roll to like 70 degrees and like 70 degrees. In fact, let's give her heck. Let's go 65 and 65. We're just getting really crazy. Remember, the further off center you get it, the less helpful it's going to be. Off and off. You'll notice these limits change, but who cares because it's off. It's inhibited. So inhibit means off. INH means inhibit if you hadn't connected the dots. Now I'm going to apply. Now it's going to reboot. 2 dances. That's fail-safe. So now I'm gonna click to go back in. We walk back over here. So now we're in safe mode, so I just wanna show you this. See the movements, the travels are limited. Off. And AS3X. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into forward programming. I'm gonna go to gyro settings. I'm gonna go to AS3X settings, and I'm gonna change my gain sensitivity to 4. Now you'll notice up here under the gains, these are the preset values, okay? Pitch, roll, and yaw. But you can go to fixed adjustable, and they'll be adjustable by default, off, and then still adjustable. You could preset those if you wanted, but there's really no reason if you have a right knob. So we're at 4 times gain, which means if I have that all the way up, we've got a lot of gain. So throttle cuts on. First time we're gonna give her some throttle. That's how long it takes to set up AS3X in safe. It's like the last 3 minutes of the video, okay? Very quick. All right, so I'm gonna hold this for a second, and I'm just gonna show you. Nothing's happening with AS3X, okay? How do I know? Because look, nothing's moving. I have my gain knob all the way up. Nothing. Nothing. Off. Nothing. Level. Auto leveling. Trying to find the quickest route to level. Look at the elevator. Trying to level the plane. Now that we're level, now it's trying to level the plane. Now we're level. Hey, by the way, when you're doing this test, don't have the nose rip off. Okay. Okay, so we're obviously in auto leveling. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna go out of that, and I'm gonna go ahead and just give her a little bit of throttle. Okay, throttle cut is on.
Wow.
Look at this. You can see the rudder from there.
Oh yeah.
It's resisting whatever direction I'm moving it. Now watch the elevator down, now up, now down. Now aileron up, aileron down, aileron up, aileron down. That's super easy. I'll show you from my vantage point what it should look like. When you move this thing, the elevator is gonna go down, it's gonna go up. It's gonna go down, it's gonna go up. It's gonna stop. It's gonna go down, it's gonna stop as soon as you stop. So I'm moving it, I'm moving it, I'm moving it. Okay, now ailerons, rolling it, rolling it, rolling it, rolling it. And same thing here, rolling it, okay? So now I want you guys to hear something. This is the other test. Make sure it corrects in the right direction. So I'm just gonna comfortably hold this all the way up, all the way down, all the way up, off, on. I'm not changing the vibration intensity, all the way down, okay? Midway point. Now check this out. Now that we know that AS3X and safe are working and that the correction is in the correct direction based on testing, retesting, and then testing again, I'm gonna check my direction of throws, up, down, roll left, roll right, yaw left, yaw right, take off flaps and landing flaps, perfect! Now I'm gonna go back into forward programming.
Probably about 15 minutes or so.
Gyro settings, AS3X, and watch this. 4 times is gonna go down to 1. Okay? So now we're done. Guys, this plane is ready to fly. Throttle cuts on, dual rates in Expo, safe AS3X, flaps, and retracts, guys. This plane is literally ready to fly, and I'm super excited to bring it to you on Brian Phillips RC. So first, hopefully to the races on this. I gotta show you if this thing will hover real quick. It should be pretty powerful. I don't know if it'll hover. I do not want to drop it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this thing is kind of hard to hold on to. Okay, throttle cuts off. Nope, it doesn't, but it's pretty loud. So, guys, without further ado, beautiful lights. This thing,
CG.
oh, CG. We gotta mark the CG before the battery dies. Guys, if we haven't already mentioned it, marking the CG is important. We're gonna mark it on the top of the wing because a plane like this, you will typically do with the gear down on most planes if you can. And if you mark on the top, you can bounce it on your fingers, okay? So the CG is marked by using a pair of calipers or some such thing. I usually like to use a black marker, but I'm probably gonna use red just to, you know, because it's a little bit more palatable on this plane.
155 to 165.
Are you kidding me?
What?
I don't know if I can measure that.
No.
Why do they do that to us? It's so frustrating.
From...
No, I can do 150 and then I'll measure from there.
Okay.
Okay, so look, millimeters, All the way opened to 155 almost. Ooh, well, that's close. So 150. And where are we measuring from?
The ambiguous.
The ambiguous, like, sweep.
Start of the thing.
No, that's from the plastic. At least I can tell where that is.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going from 150. Sorry, camera crew, how we doing? We still good?
Yeah, you're good. Right?
Okay, I got this locked. So that's gonna be back here. So what I wanna do is I wanna figure out my point and then bring it out just a hair and then pierce it. Figure out where it is, get it where it goes, and bring it out and pierce it. Okay, now I'm gonna go 5 more instead of going out further because I can't go out further. It's only 5 millimeters?
No. 155 is the start of the range.
Plus or minus?
No. 155 to 165.
Oh, 165, so
Yes,
15.
so- No, 10. 150, we marked 150 because that's all we can measure. So 155 is the start of the range.
So 155 to 160. So I just marked 150.
Because you had to.
No, I wouldn't have ever put that
You
pierced
wouldn't have-
hole
oh.
there. Goodness gracious. So annoying. So now I need to go 20 millimeters out. Okay, so 20 millimeters out is here.
15.
20. 20 from my miss mark. That gets us to 165, right?
Still 15. 150 to 165.
That's all
is still
screwed
15.
up. Okay, guys, just disregard this
Why we
entire
don't
section
do
of the
math
video.
on camera.
Okay, so we're gonna go 5 in from each. So we
Yes.
have like kind of the recommended CG, and then we have another CG. Okay, so there's 5 and 5. Okay, so 5 and 5. So it's gonna look like somebody used a very weird set of calipers, and I can live with that because you know what? That's
It'll match.
It'll
just
match.
blends in.
those are actually vortex generator turbulator bumps. I don't know.
It's not a bump, it's an indent.
Okay, so generally we have enough millimeters of throw on our tool.
Right.
How describe the tool?
Describe the tools. That's not appropriate. We shouldn't film when you get up at 4:30 in the morning.
All right, guys, checking the CG here. You guys see the marks? Woo!
Yes, all of them.
That's hard to get my hand in there because like it's
Wide.
yeah. Okay, so on the front holes, it's tail heavy. On the back holes, it's nose heavy. But I want to open the gear. Actuate your gear, guys. Just do it on the safe side. Okay, gear come out. Okay, we got to check the steerables too. Am I on the right hole?
That's the front hole on both. No, on this side, that's not the actual hole. There you go.
Okay, so a little bit nose heavy, a little bit more nose heavy. So you don't want to be like real super nose heavy on jets. Good Lord, that's hard to find now. Tell me when I'm on the back hole. Here, can you please? I can't tell what you're doing. Do you see this? Do you see my eyes? They're blocked by the plane.
You're on the back hole.
Okay, so on the back hole, it's nose heavy. On the front hole, it's nose heavy still. Okay, so do you see why I actuate the gear? That nose gear moves forward. These move out side to side, so it's not a huge change, but there is a shift in CG. Also, ooh, that's nice and soft. That is really nice. So maybe that'll make up for the rock hard tires. Kind of doubt it. Okay, so if we're nose heavy, then what that tells me is that this thing is probably gonna need to come back on the tray just a hair, okay? And to be honest, like that came out exceptionally easy. So if it comes back on the tray just a hair, then we should be good, okay? So guys, Brian Phillips RC here. We really appreciate your patronage on our channel as we explore new and exciting RC things. And we hope you guys will be back to see another video soon, even though this one, you know, you might be like a year older than when you started watching.
They're only 2 hours older.
2 hours older? Well, we did good compared to most. So that being said, if you guys are into this sort of RC content, smash the like button. Help support us by buying stuff from the links. This plane is ready to fly right now. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. That is gonna be so dang good. Oh man, it's beautiful. Okay, take off flaps, landing flaps. And we appreciate you guys bearing with us as we work through some of the more annoying challenges. And I gotta say, I hope this thing flies good, because I can definitely tell you this. It reminds me of the Flash. Do you remember the Flash, Camera Crew?
It is kind of like the Flash a little.
Except it's got retracts and an EDF, and it's less likely to chop your hand up.
And lights.
And lights. Yeah, seriously. So I hope it looks good in the air. I think it's gonna look great. I think it's gonna have really good visibility. If you don't like the look of it, I understand there's things like that to happen. The 80mm Futura is an amazing option if that's your concern, because seriously, similar paint scheme, similar trailing link. These are softer though.
They are.
They're
Those
really
look
soft.
nice.
Like, why are we not putting soft suspension on all the planes? Because like really, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't.
When you actuated them earlier, when you first opened them, I didn't think they were going to be that soft, but
Yeah.
just that little bit that you pressed on it.
They're way soft.
Yeah.
They're
like
way
really
soft,
good.
which is exactly what we want, because here's the thing, guys, when you have a really firm suspension, when you slam on the ground, then it's still gonna bounce you in the air anyway, and then what's the point? So NX10, as usual, has been working really good for us. We are finally starting to get a little jump on our scrolly. That would be a big problem, but also remember, every time we scroll through, if you guys want to really do yourself a favor for the audio events, if you know you're going to set up flight mode audio events, just make a custom menu. You can do that yourself and save the steps, so you're scrolling like 3 or 4 times instead of scrolling for like hundreds of times. And that would help. Secondly, I got to say, I'm excited to fly this. I know it lacks in certain areas, but I'm going to say this. I am really happy to be able to review these amazing things. FMS makes a good plane. And they make good planes for other manufacturers too, if you didn't already know this. And so when we review competitive offerings, sometimes they're actually being made by FMS, which is why the branding is so similar, and the books look similar, and the planes look similar, and the packaging looks similar. It's not by accident. It's because they're made by the same people. And the brains that bring you this have also, some of them left and gone and made other brands that are also available. So to be frank, we just have been really happy with the product most of the time. And we hope that you guys will buy something from the links in the video description below. And if you don't like this one, you like something else, that's cool too. We really don't care which one you pick as long as you're in the air flying. We want to support the hobby, and the best way we can do it is get people flying the right plane at the right reasons for the right time in their experience, because there is a certain amount of skill that you need to do all this stuff. And we're going to try to help you get as far. But if you start with a plane like this, you are setting yourself up for failure. And I could be wrong, but I'm probably right, okay? Don't get a 150 mile an hour plane for your first plane. It is not for you. And the truth is, it might be for you in like 6 months or a year. If you're a really skilled pilot and you make strides through your first couple of years, then there's no reason you can't be flying stuff like this in a few short years, seriously. And safe is probably not gonna be used by most pilots, but if you're just returning to the hobby and you want that, added get out of jail free card, it is nice to be able to have that at the flick of a switch, and it doesn't impact your flying otherwise. So definitely worth considering. And also, I gotta say, the Spectrum gear, we've been really happy with it. The Ford program has been a game changer, and I'm serious. It was so much more hard to set up flaperons and crow and things like that before. There's definitely still some room for improvement, guys. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying this is perfect. In the realm, the arena of RC, there is almost nothing that's perfect. And yet I really like most of it, okay? Even the stuff that's pretty garbagey, I still like it for different reasons. Namely, because it's cheap. And some people don't have the budget for expensive planes. We get that, and that's why Brian Phillips RC exists. So you can go over to Brian Phillips RC. You can see all the other videos of similar related products. And something like this would probably show up as like a sport flyer or an EDF jet.
EDF, yeah,
okay?
both.
It'd also be in the FMS category, okay? Because we sort by brand, affiliate, hobby shop, distributor, the people we worked with, and then we also sort by type. And we do that on a routine, every video basis. We're not like some of these other websites you've been to and they've been broken links for the last 17 years. No, like most of our stuff is current. And if you see a broken link, let us know.
Please do.
We fix it, because
Yes.
we know that you guys, your time is obviously valuable since you're not gonna have any left after watching our videos. We wanna help you guys streamline your process. So when you watch a video like this and you say, you know what, I'm gonna pull the trigger, I think I can survive the looks, and I've seen how good it flies and I want one now. Okay, that's why we publish the flights right away, get you excited or pass, right? And then if you like it and you wanna set it up, we're gonna show you how to do it. At least the way we did it. And if there's adjustments, we're gonna show you in the maiden flights, and then we may even have second thoughts later on where we come back and revisit a plane even beyond that, we usually call those revisits, okay? Like after I crash into the chicken coop, we fix it with 1 million skewers and 3 gallons of China glue, and then we come back and fly it again.
Yeah.
We pretend like it's smaller than it is. So anyway, guys, we're really glad to have you here. We're glad to have this this outlet on YouTube where we can talk about this stuff that we love, which is an amazing, wholesome, wonderful hobby that you can share with your grandpa and your grandchildren alike. And that is RC aviation and leaf blowers, weed whackers, and farming, building houses and ponds, stuff like that. Whatever interests Brian Phillips is what you're gonna see on this channel. E-bikes, obviously. Yeah, e-scooters and little Silverados. Oh, it's over there.
Rode them today.
Yes, that's right. So guys, we do really love this stuff. It's really fun and it's good family friendly stuff. And that's part of the reason why we love it, because there's so many millions of other like really lame choices that you can do to spend your time. And so that's why we do this. We want to get you guys into this hobby. If you're brand new and you're just thinking about getting in, don't start with this. We'll give you some good beginner choices on brianphillipsrc.com, or you can just find our beginner stuff on our playlist, which just click on our face, search our channel, but you have to kind of know what you're looking for. So that's why we have a beginner planes list.
There's a link to the beginner planes in the description.
In the description.
Or the pinned comment if you can't find the description.
If you can't find the description.
I'm trying to do that for you too.
Like she said. And we work painstakingly to keep you up to date with all the latest and greatest in RC. And so we really appreciate you guys being here. Oh, and if you haven't already subscribed, click the bell for notifications when you do it so you can get our notifications about 2 to 6 times a week is our usual release schedule. And sometimes there's like a short here and there. We try not to like bombard you with shorts, but the shorts are generally made from our long content just to draw traffic in, okay? So if you're on Instagram or if you're seeing this on Facebook or something like that, you can go over to YouTube and see the entire video. I'm guessing this won't make the short, so there you go. Any other thoughts?
I'm excited to see those gear, actually.
I'm actually excited to see the gear too. And I gotta say, when they lack in beauty, sometimes they really do good flying. So I'm desperately hoping that's what happens here. So, but at the end of the day, we do love bringing you guys all the new content. So we appreciate you being here. And the only reason we can do that is because you keep coming back and watching. So thank you for doing that. We are eternally grateful for that. And if you're a Patreon, PayPal, YouTube member, or YouTube super thanker, thank you guys too. Buy the planes, save your money, buy the planes. What goes around comes around back to us. Believe me, it's the best way for you guys to spend your RC bucks. Buy the planes, buy the transmitters, buy the batteries. That stuff is, you win, we win, they win, everybody wins. We keep the ecosystem flowing. All right? Thanks, guys. Come back for more.